All right, welcome everybody. My name is Charles Nebeze, and I'm the Vice President, Business Development and Commercialization with the Center for Excellence in Mining Innovation. And I also play a similar role in running the Mining Innovation Commercialization Accelerator. I know it's a lot of words and acronyms. Today, we're going to be hosting Little Innovative Solutions, Inc., who will be speaking to us about their approved MICA project, Mining in Shift Management, and presenting it will be Pet Bibrail, also joined by June Lee as his co-presenter. But before we jump into the innovative presentation, I wanted to just give everybody a heads up that we are doing 16 different presentations in this format of all the applications that were approved for funding in this funding round. And you can see on your screen some of the names of those organizations that are going to be funded. I also want to invite everybody who's interested in submitting an application for our second round, which is open now and closing on January the 13th, that's January 1-3. Feel free to take a picture of the slide and you'll be able to use your phone to get to the hyperlink. Now, moving on to our presentation, I would like to again welcome Pat and June Lee to do a presentation on the innovative solutions mining in shift management. Pat, take it away.
All right, thank you, Charles, and thanks for everyone listening into our project. I'm going to start off with explaining a little bit about the company. Company's been around since 2014, so we're just shy there of quite a few years on the block, servicing the vertical markets of mining, manufacturing, commercial, industrial services. We're headquartered in Sudbury, and we have about 10 employees right now. So that goes up and down depending on the projects. All right, and the problem that we are trying to tackle is everybody knows in mining that short interval control is perceived as the holy grail, as it offers the capability of collecting data and returning it to the proper decision makers. So what we have here is like a solution that will enable people to plan, to react to changes in real time or near real time in order to provide a continuous loop feedback for operations and development, project management, and mining inside a shift. So when we say that, it's basically, you're going to set up your lineup, and then you're going to understand what you're going to be, who's on shift, who's going to be doing what needs to be achieved, and then collecting that feedback as you go, regardless of the infrastructure that is currently in your mine setting, whether it be above ground or underground, because everything is tablet related. So what we're saying is that the holy grail solution for the mining industry is short interval control, and we're going to be bringing this to the industry at an affordable cost. All right, next slide. So we've developed a few modules to date. So, we're going to have a weekly production and maintenance playbook. So we call it a playbook because it's basically going to be able to show you, what's coming up during the week, what needs to be done, what important messages need to be transferred to everybody. We've got the production and maintenance and engineering and geology shift managers. So the people that are in charge of maintenance and in charge of geology, they're going to be able to plan their shifts. So think of, the special equipment that needs to be going in for an oil change or a tire change or any type of that stuff. When you're actually planning your shift, you actually know that this is a coming engagement. Therefore, it becomes very critical to succeeding in that objective, whether it be an advancement rate or whether it would be a daily production count that you want to attain. It's very important to understand that whole environment that you control. Right now, historically, we have a lot of underground workings where people are writing stuff on paper. And that paper basically ends back to the shift manager at the end of the shift, which then starts to set up for the next guy who's going to start the next shift. And he basically takes a look at that paper format, makes a decision on the fly. I'm going to need an extra scoop. I'm going to need an extra driller, bolter, something like that when it comes to equipment in order to make sure that next shift is well done. So we're going to basically facilitate this via tablet format, so that that information is basically collected, aggregated, set up on a dashboard for the person per se, so that you can make decisions right there and then and not have to wait for these little pieces of paper to be collected. Same thing with production and maintenance. It's always the same process, right? The sooner you get the information, whether it be in real time or near real time, the better this decision making. So we've got an example here of a flow form that the individuals can actually create for their employees and for their environment. So we provide them the ability to basically drag and drop, plug and play the different icons you see on the side in order to create the forms and the feedback that the key people are looking at capturing. So, whether it be a circle check around a piece of equipment, whether it would be, what's happened during the shift, what's gone right, what's gone wrong, what needs to be done? Do we need to trigger a work order? How does this all take into place? Obviously, you're seeing the phone here on the left. So as you create these forms, they're easily uploadable to the tablets, to the cell phones, so that the workforce can actually use them in the mine setting. I'm going to run a little video on this next thing just to show you basically how easy it is and what gets done. So everything is transferable depending on, here we're talking about a health and safety. So we're telling people, please review the attached procedure. So we have the ability to send this information to the workforce right at the lineup at the start of the day or during the day, where you can actually get them to take notice of something. We want everybody to monitor certain things. So here we're talking about, complex mining, some of the things that need to get done. And you can actually task people as you go. So when the process is actually done, somebody's going to receive an email or a text, and basically they will have a new task. So all of this is happening. See how you see who's going to be tasked? Different individuals, they're going to get this, and we assign to John Smith here, and add a little bit of a descriptor, and then off this is going to go with a due date. So you can see how things are very, very dynamic, and measuring this and understanding what's happening in the process, because the supervisor is going to get prompted when these things aren't done, or you can actually check where they are through the flow chart. So it's very important to basically be able to give this power and this much control to your working supervisors. All right, moving on to the next one. It's kind of like, sorry. So the scope and scalability of the software is that we're trying to make this so that it's affordable for all levels in all types of mining situations. Right now, you've got a lot of big players, the SAPs of the world, and the full enterprise solutions that you will see in very modern mines. This is a way to bring this technology and short interval control down to the mindset, down to the production level. So it's affordable, it's implementable for all types of teams, tablet-based approach. It's good for production, development, operations, project-based initiatives. The users, they don't have to be digital in a sense that we don't need the entire mine to be wired. You can have access at different points, so different Wi-Fi access, different ways to reach the network, because we have the ability to collect the data for the different items at different points. So let's say you're using Symboticware and you're muling your telemetry data about the repairs and maintenance needed on a vehicle. That data can get pulled from the historians and then pulled back to the dashboard. So depending on your level of technology and implementation at your mine site, above or underground, we can facilitate this with our tablet system. As you become more digitized, we can actually, pull more of that data using, accessing your historians, your databases, even some analog data. So all in one stop. Use case studies. So give an example of a portion of our technology that we've been developing. So under company X, they've been using the daily safety message. So what you would call the tailgate message. We have the ability to kind of like force the user to acknowledge the safety message that he's being sent around. Or if there's a standard operating procedure that has changed, you basically want to make sure that everybody acknowledges having read that, having understood that. So you can actually slide that in at the beginning of the shift. When you're doing your lineup, people are getting ready to go to work or whatnot, the tailgate message would have been sent. And then should you have people that aren't necessarily part of that immediate lineup before going down the cage, but there's somebody that has gone before, something like that, you can actually prompt that user to read that message and to acknowledge it so that you know that it's taken place. So when you're running lineup for a day or a shift, based on a workforce holiday or something like that, you actually have that ability to know who's going to be into work, and then if you're going to need to substitute that individual, and then pool or take from the work pool and reassign people. So as the supervisor says, we're working on a particular drift. We need so much production done for this day. We're going to need 2 more bodies because the guys are gone off the training, because the training of that individual is actually pulled into the software, and then make sure that every individual on that shift is actually qualified and competent to be working in that particular round. So often, you would have somebody's missing for the day, they called in sick, or they knew ahead of time they had a dentist appointment or something like that. The shift boss, instead of finding out, oh, I'm short 2 guys, I'm not going to make my numbers today. All of this can be done ahead of time, and the system will prompt you so that you can make the proper decisions going forward. Request for support. One of the key things that L'Innovative Solutions would like to see from MICA and from the group at large, we'd be looking for a pilot trial. It could be surface or underground. In the mining setting, we currently have a couple of clients in the manufacturing where we've been testing some of our concepts and testing our lineup, testing the form flows and stuff like that. We'd like to set it up, a short to medium project, and we'd like to do this for 3 to 6 months. So this would be our ask, Charles and group, if you could facilitate a meeting with one of the companies that may review this video, where we could actually, proof of concept and maybe build on their feedback to further improve what we think would be best of class here. Our contact details, you can reach out to Jun Lee, who's the president of L'Innovative Solutions, via his email or through the website.
Right. Thank you so much for the presentation. Really appreciate that. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Thank you for the presentation, Pat. Really appreciate you kind of laying it all out very clearly what it is that L'Innovative is doing with this project. I have a couple of questions for you, and Lenisa will also have some questions for you. My first question is, okay, so you're looking for this sort of pilot, right? But can you maybe tell the audience how much time does it take to actually sort of implement the trial? Because this is one of the questions mining companies ask us is, what is the time commitment required from the mining company side in order for you to sort of run the trial or implement your solution?
Jun, you want to take this question or you want me to answer?
Yeah, I'll take this question. I believe every company has different legacy system currently in place. So we are currently still in the early stage of the product development process, but we do guarantee that we will deliver a lot of data integration tools to help our client to easily connect to their existing legacy system and different equipment data sources, like Pat said. In other words, every company has different technology stacks and existing systems. But what we're trying to do is to make that integration more seamless for clients, so it'll be a lot easier for them to jump on. If you're asking a specific time frame, usually it shouldn't take more than a week to do this all kind of stuff. But of course, we have to understand what they have first, right? So that's
there's a lot of work that could be done ahead of time before the actual rollout. like building the forms and different things that the supervisory crew would like to log and document. The tools they currently use, if they're using like a paper format, stuff like that, obviously there's a little bit of time required to create the virtual forms that are going to be used in the system. And then a short training session with the individuals so that they we show them how to use the tablets and you know what's expected of them for best practice. So like Jin is saying, you know, within a week we can definitely get a project up and going, and then from there they can just build on it. Once they get the hang of it, they can build more forms, integrate more of their processes into the actual short interval control program.
Thank you for that answer, guys. Lenessa, do you want to maybe take the next question?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Pat and Jun. That's been interesting. I've just been wondering, what is the ideal client look like in order to maximize the true potential of this software?
I think there's quite a few clients out there. When you take a look at the smaller mines that can't afford large enterprise systems, and they may not have a fully network underground or above ground operation, I think that this is where, you know, people are going to see that having a tablet approach, you know, with a nice rugged case and a solution where the transfer of information can be a little bit more dynamic, and we can remove this you know, this paper format or logging in. So, you know, I could see development crews, I could see full production crews start using this. You can see this on surface, where you basically, you know, the manager for that particular shift, whether it be in the mill or even in the yard. Everywhere there's, you know, health and safety, there's some checks going on, there's reporting back with regards to how much output has been achieved for that day. Anything that you're measuring or monitoring is a good candidate.
Right. And I was wondering, do you feel confident that the different levels of managers and supervisors will adopt this type of control and interaction with their workforce?
I do, because what we're doing, you know, everybody's running a smartphone now, and a lot of people are running tablets at home and whatnot. And I think that, you know, having this integrated into their daily work, think of, you know, just a simple phone, bringing it underground and whatnot, and then leveraging the existing network, the Wi-Fi or the LTE, or depending on whatever communication protocol that they have underground. Now people are moving in this direction, and making it easy for them, easily integrated when you're basically passing by a certain location, the data gets dumped. So you're not continually having to pass along paper. And everybody loves to get prompted, right? So if I'm sending you an email, hey, you know, I have not received this decision yet, or you've been tasked with this particular thing to do and you haven't done it, and all of a sudden you get a little response. It's not like your boss is calling, but you're getting this in your email box and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, Pat, I like how you say that everybody is prompted. You know, you're right. There's certain notifications that are annoying, but I think you're right. If the notification is kind of work blind, then you actually appreciate it, right? I have a question, guys, about mining types out there, right? I mean, we all know there's, you know, base metal mining, there's precious metal mining, and then we have the other kinds of mining. Maybe it's a potash mine. So is your application sort of designed to fit a certain mining type, or is it open to any mining type?
It's open. Like I said, you know, L'Innovative has been specializing in mining, and has been concentrating also on manufacturing and the service industry, right? So any type of process where, you know, there would be a typical tailgate meeting, you know, for safety, any type of industry where there's production quotas, you know, different things that you want to achieve. That's the beauty of short interval control. And that's why short interval control is being implemented. You know, it's been implemented in manufacturing for many years. It's only making its way now into mining, because we always thought that it could never be done in mining, because the big challenge is getting that information back to the decision makers in real time or near real time, so that they can actually have an impact on the next shift and the one after that. And I think that, you know, it's high time that, you know, we're talking about digital mining, and mining in general, and all of these different commodities you've talked about, everybody has basically the same process. You've got engineers, you've got supervisors, you have processes, therefore you need short interval control.
Yeah, and Pat, you just answered my other question, which was, is there like a cross-industry application for your technology? And obviously it seems like there definitely is. And in fact, you answered it even better by saying that these types of technologies have already been used in other sectors, and mining is just sort of catching up now to use them. So thank you for that. Lanissa, why don't you take the next question?
No, you're just talking about sort of getting that information in real time. Are there any technological limitations to existing mines that would limit the efficiency of this software and hardware?
Not really. You know, the beauty of this system is that it can be scaled according to the technological implementation of a company. So if you go into a brand new project, that's a brand new mine site, and all they have is surface, you know, you're basically using tablets again to monitor and to track what you're doing, the activities that you're doing based on, you know, the scheduled shift. So as your mine progresses, you can then add the different devices, you know, because a lot of mines don't start off having a historian or an OSI Pi data collector. So that's something that gets done later down the path. But you know, every mining operation has a piece of equipment, and that piece of equipment needs to have an oil change, needs to get its tires checked, needs to get greased and stuff like that. So people usually set up, you know, a weekly, monthly, you know, twice yearly schedule, and people forget about these things. So once they're programmed to this system, the system will prompt you. And then it's going to tell the supervisor, say, hey, you know, this has been done. Okay, good. Then I can schedule this piece of equipment to be in the next round of development. So it doesn't matter.
Thank you for that answer, Pat. My next question, guys, and I think Jun Lee, I may have asked you this question a long time ago, but I'm going to ask it again. In terms of scale of application, is there a minimum number of people that need to be in an organization for this tool to be utilized?
No, it works for the small. We're really targeting you know, delivering this product with affordable price, and that doesn't count any. There's no limitation for the number of employees or that kind of stuff who's using the system.
Very good,
Charles. I would say the minimum is 2. It's kind of hard to have. It's kind of hard to have communication with yourself.
That's right. Somebody has to generate a production first, right?
maybe I can use this tool at my house with my kids. Okay. All right, perfect. Lanissa, do you have another question for us? We're nearing the end of our time, but maybe I'll give Lanissa an opportunity to ask one more question.
No, I think that's it from my end.
Okay, very good. Well, guys, you know what we've been doing is sort of giving, you know, our presenters an opportunity to say some parting words to the audience that will see this video. So Pat and Jun Lee, please go ahead and maybe take a minute or less to say some parting words.
All right. I encourage the companies that are going to see this to reach out to us. We can customize this to fit your organization. Every organization out there is different. We all know that. And I think that this is the beauty of this system, you know, the way Jun and his team have developed this. It's got a lot of flexibility and a lot of capabilities and abilities. So I think that, you know, reach out with us, tell us about your uniqueness, and we'll tell you how we can actually model this technology to your business.
All right. On that note, everybody, I want to again thank Pat and Jun Lee for this amazing presentation and really bridging the knowledge gap. And looking forward to hearing some engagements that will happen as a result of people watching this video. Thank you again, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.